Is this picture one of our new developments?
I'm not sure it's gonna pass code.
Guys all ready? Call meeting to order. We'll start with the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, thank you. I'm one hardy person that ventured out in the rain to join us tonight, so thank you for doing that, and anybody that might be with us by YouTube as well. Just a couple announcements, and for the record, I do need to note that we held an executive session immediately prior to this meeting, and it was to get briefed and have some discussion about a couple of potential litigation issues that the board became familiar with. And with that, if you can't hear us at any time, let us know. Hopefully you got an agenda back on the table and signed in. Meeting is being streamed on YouTube. Will also be posted immediately. A recording will be available through the township website. I don't know if we're doing that until the website's upgraded.
Yeah, no, it's still linked.
Okay, still linked. Okay, good. Written minutes will be available after the board has approved them. There'll be two opportunities for public comment. The first one should be used to address items on tonight's agenda, and the one at the end of the meeting is open for any comment. And with that, we'll do self-introduction of the board and the staff.
Dave Rose?
Jeff Rogers.
Art Rutledge.
Bob Brown.
Jeff Reynolds.
Todd Ziegler.
And we have our recording secretary, Wendy Brown, with us via YouTube. And we have excused our solicitor for this meeting. So with that, we'll revert to the agenda. First item would be the approval of our minutes from our March meeting.
I'll
Make
make a
motion to
motion to approve.
Second.
I gotta get faster, Jeff.
We have a motion. I think Jeff beat you by a hair, but we have,
He started. I feel like I finished my motion before he did, but he definitely started it first.
we'll let Wendy decide. How's that?
I'll give it to him.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Are there questions on anything before we vote? If not, I'll ask for the vote.
Aye.
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 5 votes to the affirmative. We have approved the minutes. And next up for approval is the treasurer's report. I would note that we're still a little under $5,000 in interest, but the CDs we talked about last month, I believe, correct, Todd, that interest will accrue until the CD is
Matures.
matured. So we won't see that difference at this time. It'll be when they mature. It was interesting, we had $619 in fines plus a big one of $5,400 to Penn Waste for a ton of missed collections again. Had pavilion rentals of $140, so this early in the year, that's kind of good. It helps cover some expenses. And I guess get ready for some solicitation because we issued $275 worth of permits, but I believe almost all those were to renewal by Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they're gonna unload a van load of people to knock on doors to solicit you for windows. Any comments you wanted to make, Todd?
No, I don't have anything to add.
Any questions from anybody or a motion?
Make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll second it.
Well, I gotta tell you, they're coming fast and fury. Wendy can decide on the second. So we have a motion and a second to accept the treasurer's report. Questions before we vote? I'll call for the vote.
Aye.
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 5 votes to the affirmative. We have approved the treasurer's report. For information, you have the first quarter actual versus budget report. No actions required on that. I went through it pretty thoroughly and a little bit with Todd, and doesn't seem to be anything that is not pretty much on target. Our engineering general services was high almost for the year's budget, but I think around 20,000 of that is for the sidewalk, which we will get reimbursed for a grant, so that will come back. But all that seemed to be in good order. Any questions anybody has, or Todd, anything you or Ryan want to highlight?
No, I have nothing.
Or is, and we don't need a motion for that. No questions, we'll move on. We have the annual audit. I don't know if you want to address that, Ryan or Todd.
Of course, everyone, we just received this, I think it was Thursday or so. Actually, it was after the packets went out. So you haven't had the opportunity to look through it. It's at your seat there now. There's a copy of their audit report along with their audit letter. There were no findings in the audit for 25, so we're happy with the audit.
I think that's many years in a row that there have been no findings. So that's telling us that the staff here does a excellent job in keeping everything straight, accurate, and as it should be. So congratulations to everybody that's involved in that. Anybody have any questions at all? I don't think you've had a chance to really review it much. And we don't need to approve that anytime, right? So we've reached, while the audience is small, we have reached the first opportunity for public comment. Anybody want to address this at this time? All right, seeing none, we will move on. We have a couple of ordinance issues. The first one does require a public hearing, so I'll interrupt our meeting to convene a public hearing at this time for ordinance number 2026-02. It's a zoning order amendment that adds a house of worship to the industrial zone, not industrial, interchange zone, and I think corrects a small typo or something previously where it wasn't clear that it was also allowed by right in the commercial district. Is that right?
Correct.
Todd?
That's correct, the table.
So are there any questions? Anybody have any comments or a motion? This would be to, again, approve the ordinance which authorize by right house of worship in the interchange zone.
So moved.
Have a motion? Have a motion and a second that would approve ordinance number 2026-02. If there are no questions, we'll vote.
Aye.
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 5 votes to the affirmative. Ordinance 2026-02 regarding a house of worship is approved. The next ordinance does, I guess officially should have closed the public hearing as well. The next one, ordinance 2026-03, does not require a public hearing. It's not a zoning issue. It's just approving an update of a listing of the stop sign locations. In case you didn't count them, we have 263 stop signs in the township. Big number. And
Just
this
on township roads, it doesn't include state highways, so,
It is just township roads, right?
yeah.
And this lists them all.
Yes.
So, are there any questions?
Just so you're aware, Ryan had a couple to add, and then there were a couple corrections as far as the stop streets and so forth. So instead of trying to, do that verbiage where, behind this word, add this and subtract that, we
Easier.
cleaned it up, and I shouldn't say Ryan cleaned it up, and so we're just re-adopting the entire list.
Which one of you counted them?
Pardon?
200 and what?
263.
263. Which one of you counted them?
Excel numbers the rows.
And it, as Todd said, does not include state roads and does not include at the end of any private road where it might meet a township road. Doesn't include those as well. Questions or a motion?
No,
I'll make a motion to enact ordinance number 2023-03.
Second.
Have a motion and a second that would approve ordinance 2026-03, listing of stop signs at intersections. No questions? We shall vote.
Aye.
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 5 votes to the affirmative, so we have approved ordinance 2026-03. Todd, we have a, there's a plan. Oh, okay, that comes up a little bit. So we have a bond reduction request, I think, first, right?
Correct. Excuse me. This is for Ellen Darby for down at Seitzlin Village. for the store property that they were renovating. The original bond was in the amount of $121,280.50. They requested a reduction of $62,343, which would leave a balance of $59,937.50. And that's due to work that they've already completed. We did receive today a letter from the township engineer, Jeff Shue. He reviewed their request and the numbers, and they did their inspection, and they agree with that request. So the engineer recommends to the board that you approve that reduction in the amount of $62,343, leaving a balance of the $58,937.50.
I'll make a motion to that effect.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the bond reduction. And that has been recommended to do so by Jeff Shue. Questions? We shall vote.
Aye.
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 5 votes to the affirmative, so we have approved the bond reduction. And I think we have here, Todd, just an extension of a prior approval.
Yeah, this is, if you recall, this is the parcel that was owned by Kevin Schaub, and it extends into Railroad, partially in Shrewsbury Township, and the subdivision's all taking place in Shrewsbury Borough, so it doesn't affect Shrewsbury Township or the borough. But because it's located partially, we still have to review the plan. If you recall, the board did authorize 3 months ago that we won't do any formal review because there's no development taking place in Shrewsbury Township. However, that hasn't been completely finalized, that plan, so we just need our normal reapproval for 90 days.
Make a motion to approve a 90-day extension on the Clearview Drive Shaw property.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second that we would reapprove the plan through July 8th of 2026. Questions before we vote? Call for the vote.
Aye.
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 5 votes to the affirmative. We have approved the subdivision plan extension. And we're to reports. First one is the manager. Todd, anything you or Ryan want to emphasize?
Couple things, just as far as the grants, you've probably seen there. The York Adams Realtors Association sent an email to all the municipalities in York and Adams County looking for a project, recreation type, community type project. The maximum grant was $7,500, but they were going to pick one project out of those that they received to submit to the National Realtors Association to try to get some grant money. So we put something together for the trail down in Miller Park on the new 13 acres, just to do the outside perimeter walking path. And they did select our project, and they did submit it to National Association, and we did get $7,500 toward that. And then the other grant that we were notified this month, we received $86,444 through the local share account, which was the gaming funds, and that goes toward the curb and sidewalk project on Forest Avenue and Mount Airy Road.
Well, the grants, we continue to get those, so again, congratulations, Todd, you and Ryan, that put those together, and they all add up to help us get things done without spending a lot of taxpayer money. We've been fortunate to.
And then the only other thing I will note is that our new website will be launched on April 16th at 1 o'clock. We're going to release it, so you'll find it much more user-friendly, more information, easier to navigate, and it'll be a lot more appealing than what the current one is. So
Wonderful. Todd, question about the previous sidewalk grants. Do they expire? Do we have to have that done by a certain time period?
no,
I'm seeing one starting back in 2020. Obviously, 2025 is not that far away.
yeah, the county the county one, which is the 100,000, they've extended that. We're gonna request another extension because we plan to put it out for bid in early '27, so
Okay.
construction will take place next year. I anticipate that they'll approve that. The multimodal, that's a 3-year grant, so it was
Okay.
awarded in February
So two
25.
more.
Now, that was the award date. The 3 years actually starts when you sign the contract, and that can take sometimes 3-4 months before. So that date is actually beyond that February date. So
Okay. All right.
again, we should be fine.
Thank you.
Good question, Dave. Any other questions on manager's report? All right, we will move on. We have no report from the solicitor. We have the zoning officer, codes enforcement, sewage enforcement. Again, I reviewed this pretty thoroughly with Todd and Ryan yesterday. I think there were a few more closed from Keith that we hadn't identified which ones they were, but to me, they all seem to be moving forward, and those that aren't, a couple of them are going to get some quick attention. So I don't know if there's anything you wanted to emphasize.
No, there were, I know there were, I believe it was 3 that Keith said he did not get entered in the system before we printed the reports. I didn't have a chance to follow up with them to find out which 3 those were, but I do know they are working on them. There's 1 or 2 I think we could move along a little faster, but we'll meet up with Keith on that and see what we can do to get those moving along.
Any specific questions from anybody? All right, we'll move on to the maintenance. I think that's next. Better flip my page. Maintenance Department report. Again, anything Ryan or Todd you want to add or emphasize? Or anyone have any questions? I did see the walking path map. Looks good at Miller Park. You now know how far you're walking once you're there. Yep, yeah, that's good. It turned out very nice.
And I know they're working on, or they want to work on the, was it the QR code, is that what they call it? Using your phone, that they can actually, you can download a map then on your phone
Oh,
as
okay.
well.
So we'll put them up. I figured there's no point in doing it while we're doing the website and all, because then I don't know if you can change those QR codes or not. So we're
Okay.
just gonna wait for the new website to be up and then the map on the new website. And we'll do the QR codes.
No, it's well done. It shows you the length of just about any possible path you can take through, so
Yeah.
very good. Well done. Questions from anybody else? Okay. Yeah, the CF Davidson report is pretty self-explanatory. Are there any questions, or Todd, anything that should be emphasized?
I have nothing to add.
You have the Recreation Commission report, fairly lengthy one in front of you. It is now giving us some more detail, at least on cost and, I guess, income that we can look at. And I think in the minutes, we wouldn't see anything about the line dancing until next
Right,
time.
right, you might, I don't know, for sure.
We'll see what's in there. Any questions or anything you want to offer, Jeff? It's-
No,
Okay. All right, nothing there. We do have a report, but the man is also here if Stan wants to add anything. Thank you for the report. It's good information. Well,
Thank
every
you.
time I see you, you got more beard there.
Thank you. Stan Walters, 26 Essex Circle Drive in Shrewsbury Borough. I am your emergency management coordinator. And we do have a regional EMA that includes Shrewsbury Township, as well as the boroughs of Glen Rock, Railroad, New Freedom, and Shrewsbury. You're currently looking at a fairly voluminous catch-up report that included all of December, January, and February. As your meeting is on the very first day of April, it's a little hard to push out the March report in time for you to see it, but you will get that. But Pennsylvania and most of Pennsylvania and all of Schema served area continues under what's categorized as a D1 moderate drought. And in fact, an update to that, the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, the Department of Environmental Protection, did declare and issue a drought watch for 27 counties, including York. And what that drought watch does is asks the citizens to voluntarily reduce their water usage by 5%. So it's not a big ask, and it's not a mandatory one. But we've been in this situation for quite some time, and although we are making up for some of the lack of precipitation this year, we came into the year with a deficit.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the problem is they don't always, on the news at 10 and 11, they may say, well, we got a lot of rain and we're only, half an inch from where we should be this year, but they don't say that we're at a deficit already. So what that means is that the risk for fire remains, a little bit higher than normal. And just because we get a few sprinkles here this evening doesn't mean that necessarily tomorrow will be a great day to burn off a giant pile of debris without paying really close attention to it. So in addition to that, I did bring up that the winter season ended and spring is on its way. And already in March, probably a little bit ahead of time, because we usually think of April as the beginning of severe weather. But we did have a couple of days where we had an elevated risk of severe weather. And although, again, schema-served areas escaped any property damage, there was some damage in Cadorus Township. There was a barn that lost its roof and part of it collapsed. Other parts of the state also experienced some damage from the storms in March. Coming up, we do have, this is the year that the Peach Bottom Nuclear Energy Plant has their biennial drill, and staff is going to be running a monitoring and decontamination exercise at the York County Fairgrounds on May 16th. And we're also in the early stages of planning a community outreach event, kind of a talk for the citizens to come to, where we'll explain kind of what the purpose of EMA is in the community, but our primary focus is going to be on family and personal preparedness. And I've been working with the Shrewsbury Borough Lions Club and Brian Schweitzer, and I think Brian's reached out to you because he's mentioned that this facility would be available for that. So we're looking at a date in September to do that as part of Preparedness Month, something to outreach to the community. So unless you have any questions on that big report for me, I will be pushing out in the next day or two a March report that then Ryan and Todd can distribute that to you. But
Congratulations on receiving the EMC's Choice Award.
I'm very humbled to seem to receive that annually, just about. But I wasn't alone. So there was another EMC along with me that also received that award as well. So,
Well, we know you work hard and would be extremely difficult to replace. So we're blessed to have you.
thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Stan.
Thanks, Dan.
Any questions at all for Stan? All right, you have, obviously I skipped over fire and EMS because we didn't have anything there. You have the Planning Commission, Zoning Hearing Board, a few comments on that one. The Ad Hoc Committee for Zoning Ordinance Amendments, concentrating on data centers, did meet last week. I believe we're pretty close to a final document. It's actually not till May 3rd, I think, is the next meeting, is that right? Todd, early May
What's that,
for a data center meeting?
I think here,
I think
early May.
Yeah.
It's early May, I think. It's the
Yeah.
finish.
So hopefully we'll be able to sort of put our blessing on the ordinance and start that through the cycle where we can get it approved and enacted before we get any data center interest here. Sewer committee, there's really nothing new at this point in time, Todd, that I think we can add much by having a meeting, so.
No, we received some additional information we requested from Shrewsbury Borough. I think I reported that last month, but we haven't had the chance to go through that yet.
So we did at least receive it?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so next we have some opportunity for supervisors' comments. You have my report there, so you can ask me questions at any time. I would note a correction on the last item. Ad hoc ordinance committee should say data centers, not centers. My typo there. I did attend the new WellSpan Hospital at Shrewsbury Community Hospital, had an open house. It's in Stonebridge Center. They did a marvelous job at that, and we did finally able to qualify the number of beds because there's been a lot of questions about that. And it has 10 emergency room beds on one side, and it has 10 beds for overnight stays on the other side. They did comment in an emergency situation they will stabilize and get the person up to York Hospital. They won't stay. There's no like critical care or anything like that there. And on the other side, it's all telehealth, and it's meant to be for maybe if you have COVID or dehydrated, again, 2 or 3 days, and they want you gone. You were there. You want to add?
Right. Yeah, I also attended this hospital opening. One thing that's interesting is that the emergency center up on the top of the hill over the hamburger place. Anyhow, the emergency hospital up there is still going to stay put, and then we'll have the emergency center down below as well. For one's urgent care. Urgent care is at the top of the hill. The main differences are the type of insurance you might have. There's a lower copay if you go to the urgent care unit versus if you go to the new hospital down below.
They're extremely well equipped, as you might expect a new hospital to be, but they have have a CT scanning equipment. A lot of large hospitals don't even have that. They use it in trailers that come and go. But up-to-date X-ray and various scanning equipment. Each individual room looked like it was very well maintained in the emergency center, as it did in the non-emergency center. Those are all private rooms. Like I said, it's all telehealth. You will not see a doctor in there unless you're in really, really bad shape, and they would ask the emergency doctor to come over, but they have no plans to do that on a normal basis. And each side is staffed separately by separate nurses and separate groups. So interesting, it is 51% owned by WellSpan and 49% owned by a company in Texas that specializes in these small community hospitals. I think as are the other couple that are opening. Tours were well done. The people that did the tours will be working there. They seem knowledgeable and seem to know what was going on. But if you go in there and want a blood test, even though they have super capabilities, they're going to tell you you don't want to do that here. You want to go up on the hill, because if you do it here, it's going to cost you a fortune because you would pay an emergency room fee. So they're there strictly for emergency care and short-term care. Interesting, I don't think they have it functioning yet, but their plan is when there's a blood test they can't do, and they said there won't be many, they will use a drone to take that to York Hospital and get it done there. So there's a zone landing platform on the roof, and that's how they'll take your blood up to get it tested. Did I miss anything?
Well, they'll also have helicopter facilities. The helicopter pad will be in Stewartstown, but again, there is that extra feature.
So nice to have that close by, and I think it could help the ambulance crews and have them more readily available by not having to travel so far. Once they send somebody on, I don't know, they might even do that by private ambulance. Once they say you're stable, you can go to York. I'm not sure how they'll do that, but it's a very nice facility. They put on a really good open house, complete with complete meals from food trucks and everything else if you went. And they did donate $15,000 to Shrewsbury Fire Company for the music festival that they have coming up. Okay, that's pretty much, I did participate in a 2-hour seminar that PennDOT gave on their municipal outreach resource program. Anything from anybody else? Okay. We will move on to old business, which we do not have any. New business, we have the tax credits.
Yeah, this is for the volunteers that are residents of Shrewsbury Township, and they're volunteers with one of the 3 fire departments that serve the township, or one of the 2 EMS services that serve the township. If you recall, they have to earn a certain level of points. The way our program's set up is they have to earn 200 points or more in order to be eligible for the earned income tax credit up to $500, which is handled by the York Adams Tax Bureau, or to get a refund of their real estate taxes from Shrewsbury Township. So this year you have the list in front of you, and just for comparison purposes, this year we had 23 eligible residents. Last year we had 17, so there is an increase. The average number of points, again, the minimum required is 200. And the way you earn those points, if you're an officer, you get a higher number of points just right up front. But for every hour that you volunteer, you get 1 point. So it's not like you get a lot of points. So a lot of these folks are putting in an hour and getting 1 point. So they're putting in 200 or more hours to earn this credit. The average points per person this year was 604. And last year we had 9 of the 17 who were property owners and were eligible for the reimbursement. This year we have 13 of the 23. And the reason some of those are not eligible is, you know, it may be a husband and wife or father and a son, or they may rent. But last year we had a whopping total of $151.46 that was reimbursed in township taxes. And this year, what we're looking for is authorization from the board to refund 2025 taxes to those listed on the list that are eligible, which is 13 people, and that grand total is $217.49.
Make a motion to approve.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the volunteer services tax credit amount of $217.49. Questions? Call for the vote.
Aye.
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 So we've approved that payment. Interesting to note that some huge points at Glen Rock EMS. Highest 2,785. That is a lot of hours. Okay. We have a workman's comp insurance.
It's the end of this month. Our workers' comp insurance policy is up for renewal. Currently, we're with AmTrust, which is a private insurance company. Some of you may have been on the board at the time. I believe Art and Jeff Rennell was on. Not sure about the other 3. We had a former employee who was injured and, put quite a strain on workers' comp, and at that time, we were part of a pool, which is other municipalities, school districts, and so forth. And due to that claim, they no longer want us to be a part of it, so we were expelled. And then we ended up going with the State Workers Insurance Fund, and now we're down to the private insurer, which is this AmTrust. We did go out seeking some other proposals. The best one that came back is going back into a pool once again with Municipal Risk Management. It's MRM. And the first 3 years, your rate is frozen, but you get dividends back through the pools, and we did before when we were part of it. So we aren't eligible for those dividends for the first 3 years. Of course, we have to, lack of a better term, earn their trust and so forth, and have a good experience rating with low to no claims. There is a 4-year initial membership commitment. And again, something they offer, which I think is a nice service to provide to its members, is that they have a very thorough inspection, municipal operations safety inspection performed every year. They give recommendations and they help you with your personnel policies, things such as that. The MRM, the pool, currently has 277 members across the state of Pennsylvania. Their annualized contributions are approximately $22 million. They share with us what their dividend calculations are for 2026, and this is dated March 24th. At our mod rate, we would be paying right around the 22,000, and the dividend that those folks are getting back is 19,327. Of course, that number varies greatly based upon claims among all members, but they have some pretty significant dollars. They have it by percentage rates. There's some that are getting 100% rebate, some at 80, some at 40, 44, 36, and again, that's based on their experience. So the point being is, after the 3 years, we have great potential to get a lot lesser workers' comp rate. Currently, we are paying with AmTrust. They would renew at the end of the month at $22,708, and our first year with MRM would be $22,854. So less than $100 a year, we could become part of a pool once again, and then after 3 years, provided we have a good claim rate, we'll start to see dividends and get some of that 22,000 or whatever that rate is at that time.
How do they each treat claims differently? Like if you have claims, what's the penalty, or
Well, that's how your
dividend?
your
what's the one?
dividends reflect that.
And at what point do they say, we don't want you anymore? Like,
I don't know what that threshold is. That I don't know.
but right now, it looks like you just would pay, depending on the seriousness of the claim, you would get a lesser dividend.
Correct.
What does AmTrust do? Do they,
We get no dividends. They're a
Right,
private insurance
do
company.
they keep you, or if you have a claim?
They have the right to not renew.
Okay.
Now, we have an extremely good claim history over the last 7 years.
Yeah. But it doesn't take much
No,
So-
it doesn't.
to create a claim. I guess here you would hope it's a small claim and you don't turn it
I
over to
mean,
them.
it's like insurance. It's all based
Yeah.
on risk. I think it's a good idea to get back into a pool once
Do
again. We
you
had good
know how many
experience with that
members the
before.
other pool had that we were in? Was it close to the same?
I think it was fewer.
Okay.
I feel it was in the 100s. I don't think they even had 200. I think it was a much smaller pool.
And is this across the state of Pennsylvania?
Yeah, it's only, and actually they have here,
Only
if
Pens-
anyone wants any of this detail, you're welcome to have it.
Only Pennsylvania though, right?
Correct, only Pennsylvania. They have 118 townships, 76 boroughs, 50 water and sewer authorities, and then 25 COGS, which is council, governments, EMS, and other joint entities, and 6 cities is their makeup. And they did note here, out of those 200 and... Yeah, they had 277 this one report, but here on their spreadsheet it says 275 trust members, and they're saying in 26 of those 265 were eligible for some level of a dividend.
How many?
265.
Okay.
Yeah.
So almost all of them.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Of course, if you have high claims, you're not getting anything. Of course.
Valid point. Do you need a motion to switch this?
Yeah, I would ask for that from the board for a motion to authorize us to change our workers' comp to the municipal pool, which is known as the MRM, which is Municipal Risk Management.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion, 2 seconds.
May have already passed.
Yeah, that's right. To
Kidding. Formality.
approve switching from the trust we're currently in to MRM. Questions? We shall vote.
Aye.
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 5 votes for the affirmative. We have approved that change. Thank you guys for doing the research to come up with something that should work a little better for us. So good to do that. All right, we have a stormwater operation and maintenance agreement. This is our standard agreement. Todd, nothing special.
Standard. Yeah.
All right.
Make a motion to approve the stormwater operation and maintenance agreement for property at 13703 Ingham Road.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the stated stormwater operation and maintenance agreement. Call for the vote.
Aye.
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 5 votes to the affirmative. That's agreed, approved. You have some correspondence. One for those who are maybe attending, we have the PSATS information. You have information on CGA law firm municipal night at baseball event. You should have gotten an email for the same thing from CS Davidson, their client appreciation event. I think the one is May 15th, that's CGA, and Davidson is April the 29th. Cooler weather for both. You have the latest edition of the LGAC newsletter. That closes out correspondence. Any questions on any of the correspondence? All right, that brings us to the last item on our agenda, is closing public comment. Anybody wish to say anything? All righty,
Motion to adjourn.
we are adjourned.